to Veggie Cooking class. I'm Chef Tanya, and today we're going to be cooking broccoli salad with a creamy dressing. Hey my chefs, what's the number one most important thing that we do before we get started cooking? Exactly, wash our hands. So you want to get the water going to where it's nice and warm. Grab your soap and start washing. And for how long do we wash? Exactly 20 seconds or 2 counts of happy birthday. The first thing we're going to go over is knife safety. When you're using a knife, you must always make the claw. And what the claw means is that when you're chopping, that your fingers stay out of harm's way. Make sure that you're using your safety knife. If you're using any other knife, such as a small bread knife, a fillet knife, a utility knife, or a chef knife, make sure that adult is with you at all times. Safety. All right, chefs, let's get cooking. This recipe calls for 1 head of cauliflower and 1 head of broccoli. So with the cauliflower, you're going to want to break them into chunks like this. You can use your knife, or you can just take your hand and break them off like this and get them into chunks about this size. And once you've done that, you don't even really need a knife. You can just break them off like this into smaller pieces. And if you want to chop it with a knife, make sure you start out with a larger piece, make your claw, and then cut the cauliflower like this. And this will make you have very small bite-sized pieces, which are great for the salad. Now that we have our cauliflower chopped, it's time to move on to our broccoli. So I have 2 smaller heads. The recipe calls for a medium head, but I'm going to use 2 smaller heads. I've removed the stems. So now I'm going to do similar to what I did with the cauliflower and just break them into pieces like this. Now this part of the broccoli is super, super, super hard. So I cut the ends off like that, and then I'm gonna break the broccoli into little pieces like this, because it'll be easier to eat in the salad. Now broccoli is a superfood. It's a green vegetable, so it's already winning, and it has tons of protein in it. So this salad is super, super good for you. Very nutritious, very delicious. You can also do a yellow onion, and in my case, I'm going to do a green onion. So we're going to remove the ends if you're doing the green onion. If you're doing the red onion, you're going to want to remove the skin and then slice it and then chop finely. All right, now I'm just gonna wash my hands. Make sure you're washing your hands in between touching ingredients or touching any of your tools, because you don't want to cross-contaminate. And then I'm also going to take this opportunity to clean out my space. So I'm going to rinse my knife. Dry it, and then wipe off my space. All right, so this is what we have so far. We have the green onion, the broccoli, and the cauliflower. So the next thing that we're going to do is add our raisins and our sunflower seeds. So for myself, I don't have any raisins, so what I'm gonna do is use a carrot. Carrots are crunchy and they have a little bit of a sweetness like a raisin would. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the salad. We're gonna use our peeler, and remember, we peel exactly away, away, away. And we make sure that we're holding the end of whatever we're peeling away from our fingers so that we don't cut ourselves. So you're gonna wanna add your carrots or raisins or any other dried fruit that you'd like to use, and your sunflower seeds. Now I chose to use a toasted almond. Both are fine, both are also great sources of protein, and will add a really, really nice crunch to your salad. So this is what we have so far. Look how pretty that looks. And next we're gonna get started on our dressing. So it's time to make our dressing. Let's start with a lemon. I'm gonna cut the lemon in half. Again, claw. Now be careful with lemons because sometimes they can be a little slippery, so make sure you have a really good grip on it. I'm gonna cut the lemon in half. Now you could pick out some of the seeds like this, or you can use a juicer. Or you can squeeze the lemon through your clean hands to catch any seeds or pulp from the lemon. Squeeze to get everything out. Oh, there goes some seeds. Those are easy enough to get out with a fork. Now this whole lemon gave me about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So if you have store-bought lemon juice, I would go with about that amount. If you have a juicer, you're probably going to get a little more juice out of it. But this is probably about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Next, we're going to add our sweetener. You can use agave, honey. In this case, I'm using a coconut sugar. So that's going to help balance out some of the citrus of the lemon. And you're just going to whisk that together. Next, we're going to add our Dijon mustard. You can also use a yellow mustard if you'd like. You can use a stone ground mustard. We're going to whisk that together. It should start to look like a nice vinaigrette. The next thing I'm going to add is my salt and my pepper. Do about a teaspoon of each. You can always add more if you'd like at the end. And I'm going to add a little bit of dill to mine, but you can do whatever seasoning that you like. that a quick whisk. And then I'm going to slowly add my olive oil. Now I'm doing this by hand, but this is also something that you could do in a food processor, in a blender, in a smoothie maker. And you're going to want to whisk it, which a food processor will do this for you, but you want to whisk it until it becomes nice and emulsified. Like that. So our final ingredient for the dressing is a mayo. You can use a plant-based mayo. If you don't like mayonnaise, a Greek yogurt would work great. I have about a half a cup here, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it slowly so everything gets mixed nicely together. So I'll probably add about a tablespoon at a time. And then whisk everything together. So everything comes together. All those good flavors. And there's your dressing. So now that we have all of our ingredients for our salad and our dressing, we're going to want to slowly pour it in. And then we're going to lightly toss all the ingredients together. And this is another salad that does really, really, really well sitting in the fridge for a little bit to let all the ingredients come together. This will also keep for a couple days. So if you wanted to make this ahead of time, this is a really good recipe to do that with. All right, I'm gonna add a little more dressing. Probably end up using all of this. And then we'll give it a taste and see if we need to add anything more. Now that we have all of our ingredients mixed really well together, it's time to eat. Now this is a salad that does really, really well on its own, but you can also put it in a tortilla, you could put it in a lettuce wrap, you could mix some brown rice, some quinoa in here, so it's really something that works really, really, really well. If you wanted to mix a little bit of pasta in there, that would work great too. Make sure you cool, obviously, the pasta off before you put it in with the cold salad. Crunchy, tangy, creamy. It's great with the crunch of the almonds and that lemon and that little hint of sweetness from the coconut sugar. Very, very delicious. All right, my chefs, thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy cooking.